Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rogue Wave podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture, and the rogues who create it every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Wave Podcast. Download our podcast immediately following this live stream on all major podcasting apps, Apple, Google, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, you name it, we're out there. Or you can go to roguewavepodcast.com. That's wave without an E to subscribe on Apple Podcasts. We are presented by Rogue Matter, a brand new digital content company that likes to color outside the lines and shatter boundaries. Tonight, the greatest pop culture debates of all time, the boys Spinoff, MCU news, and more. As always, I'm your host, Michael Dolce, joined by my cohort in crime, Mr. Hassan Godwin, the Lord of the live stream. How you doing, sir?
It's another Wednesday, and it's warm. I don't know why it's so hot at the end of September. It's September 30th.
It got cool for a while, and then it's
70 degrees. It's September 30th. That's not right.
Kind of eased in. So
okay, if you say so.
But you're here, hot. And that's a good thing. Now,
so far,
I know you love this. This is your favorite part of the show, but we've got a couple of announcements. First, I want to shout out to some top fans that we didn't shout out to last week, which is Christopher Cameron Payne and Steve Hovecki. We shout out to James Massia and to David Rosenberg for always loyally coming on and commenting on the Facebook feed. But I want to also give a shout out to these two fine individuals who, basically they tune in every week. And we love that. So appreciate them. Second, Plan 59 Kickstarter went swimmingly successful, except one guy. We had just hit 8K, right? Which was awesome, right? It's the biggest Kickstarter I've ever been a part of. And some guy with less than an hour to go dropped his pledge. So it went from 8K to 79.10. It was like, you jerk. I didn't care. My partner in that, James Massia, did not like that. And finally, we are doing it all over again starting tomorrow. You're going to see a commercial for it later in the show. We are launching the very first Rogue Matter Kickstarter ever. It's a book called The Time Trader. It's actually created by me. It's 6 years in the making, which is kind of exciting about it. It's about a guy who can rewind time whenever he wants to, goes to the stock market to try to cash in, discovers it's run by an Illuminati of people just like him. And it actually first hit Kickstarter 6 years ago under a different name. It's called Undone. Then Amazon went and they had to go there, do their own, Undone show. And so we renamed it The Time Trader, and we're doing books 1, which is already complete, but with redrawings and things like that, which is pretty cool. And we're doing issue 2, all in the same Kickstarter. So you can get issue 1 and issue 2. I've been shopping this for many, many years after, and thanks to Rogue Matter, it's gonna be out there. So we really appreciate Rogue Matter for picking it up, and we also appreciate anybody who's been originally backed it and wants to see the conclusion of the graphic novel. So we're getting it out there, which is really, really exciting. So you can go right now, go to SireStudiosInc.com/Kickstarter, and it'll take you right to Time Trader, or you can go onto Kickstarter right now and just type in Time Trader and follow the project. It is launching tomorrow at noon Eastern time. How'd I do? Is that good? We're good? You're happy? All right, let's get into it. We call this segment Rogue Rage, all the rage in the pop culture universe. And we're going to start off with a little bit of MCU, do the MCU shuffle. After plenty of speculation, this would inevitably, what is that, like from Team America, right? Inevitably be the case. The Hollywood Reporter reports that Black Widow's big screen release will indeed be delayed until May of next year. Originally scheduled to premiere in May 2020, Black Widow's release date was first pushed back to November 2020 due to theater closures caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The additional delay means that basically everything gets shuffled. So now moving to November 5th, 2021 is The Eternals. July 9th is Shang-Chi in 2021. December 2021, though, is still Spider-Man Homecoming 3, and Thor Love and Thunder is still planned for February 2022. Followed by March, Doctor Strange. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, they've really got a lot of movies now. So, assuming the word about the vaccine is true, and the rapid testing, which I heard about too, which is now hitting market. So hopefully these things all go according to plan. Let's assume by May of 2021, we're back to functioning in a normal society, and I can plan to go to San Diego Comic-Con. There's going to be just a ton of Marvel movies, like a ton, like all in a row. I mean, look at the dates right here.
5.
What's that?
If 5 is a ton, then okay.
Well, usually it's maybe 3, sometimes 2 in a year, in a calendar year.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it is actually, really a lot. Like
they're going to need it because they lost a lot of revenue this year. So
what's that?
They're going to need it because they lost a lot of revenue this year.
Sure, but I mean, think about it. This year was only going to be Black Widow, a couple of Disney Plus shows, and The Eternals. Like that was their slate for this year. So there's only 2 films this year anyway. So now those 2 get pushed over to 2021, and then you have Shang-Chi and you have Spider-Man: Homecoming 3, or I guess not Homecoming 3, but Spider-Man 3. I mean, there's a lot, and then rapid fire in 2022, Thor and Doctor Strange, Black Panther 2, which I don't know exactly how they're going to go about doing that, if they're going to recast, or I think there was a petition online to have the sister kind of take over, which it's funny, if they decided to do that, I'd actually be fine with that. I actually would almost be more fine with that. I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts if they recast?
Well, it's there's precedence for it because that's what happens in the comic book, even though it was only temporary.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing is so sad. I haven't been giving it any thought how they're going to move on without it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll make, because it's one of their cash crops. And it's one of the ideas that what they were hoping they were going to be able to build on it now that Captain America and Iron Man are no longer. So theoretically, no longer in the MCU, right? So they were going to hopefully use Black Panther as their tentpole to go forward, and now that's kind of hurt really badly. It's whatever they do. If they use whoever they use, it will be kind of miraculous if it's accepted at the same level of intensity. So
here's the funny thing about
It's going to take them a while,
right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but here's the funny thing about the character, right? In the comics, they've rebooted that comic series so many times. There's not something that is like, well, it's got to be definitively this or definitively that. So, and like you said, they've done that in the comic also, where the sister kind of took over temporarily. So there is precedent. I'm like those Supreme Court judges. Like, as long as there's precedent for something, like I feel like that's how I make my rulings on any of these things. Like if they suddenly do a caste change or a gender change or something like that, if they do it in the comics and they do it well, then I'm usually all for it if they're going to do it in the movie. So in this case, I'm not really that opposed to it. That being said, it would be interesting. Except Killmonger's dead now, but I mean, Michael B. Jordan almost somehow being resurrected and taking over the mantle.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't know if you can have your iconic hero. That's the same thing they were saying about. People were saying it should have been the new Captain America should be Bucky and not Falcon. And the problem is Bucky's an assassin. Right. He's a recovering assassin, but he's an assassin, right? So no one's thinking about the integrity of the title, going to, So I mean, like, you're gonna give a character called Killmonger, you're gonna make them the new Black Panther. I don't think so.
Well, yes, but there, look, there's precedent. Well, there's precedent for Bucky being Captain America from the comics again, and there's precedent for people who, kind of turn over a new leaf. Kind of taking over, and there's usually good stories, a good redemption story in there. So, again, it's not as if they cast some no-name actor to fill this role. I mean, it's Michael B. Jordan, like, he's phenomenal. So it would almost, to me, be the most logical answer, even though, I take that back. It's not the most logical answer. It's the most organic answer if we're telling the Black Panther movie story and tying it to events in real life. The easiest thing to do is just recast it, because T'Challa is still the character and it's still him. So, but they've got 2 years. maybe 3, depending on how this all shakes out, right? So we'll see how that goes. All right. John Cena and James Gunn team for Peacemaker series at HBO Max. It's been over a month since we got our first look at the trailer of the new Suicide Squad from writer-director James Gunn. It really wasn't a trailer. It was more like an intro. Once again, Gunn showcases his talent and penchant for D-list comic characters. Apparently, Warner Brothers loves what they've seen of the film, which is a sharp contrast to the 2016 film. So it doesn't come as a complete surprise that a Peacemaker prequel series with John Cena has been announced. This comes on the heels of the Gotham Central spinoff show from the Batman director, Matt Reeves. Whether or not Peacemaker will actually make it out alive by the end of Suicide Squad, we'll have to wait and see. But until then, the details were issued in a series of tweets. From
Obviously, he doesn't.
What's that?
Obviously, he doesn't.
Why not?
Because they would have just announced it as a spin-off series, as opposed to a prequel. You know, they go through the trouble of actually saying it's a prequel.
I have two.
If they were just if they were just doing a soliciting spin on it, they would have just said it's a spin-off.
I have 2 reactions to what you just said there. One, I'm amazed I didn't think of that first. So, kudos to you. 2, every once in a while, a studio will actually be creative in their marketing. For example, Mandalorian not revealing Baby Yoda, and keeping that kind of under wraps, as the central crux. And again, it's not the studio; it's just the studio going along with the creator. So maybe James Gunn is kind of saying like, let's make it a prequel, or let's announce that it's a prequel, so that.
Yeah, that seems like it too clever by half. It's an extra step for no reason, because all they had to do is announce it's a spinoff, and nobody would think that think the wiser. And then you kind of think you find out when you go see the films, like, well, wait a minute, he died, so how can it be a spinoff? And it's like, okay, it's a prequel, I mean, look, the Baby Yoda thing is correct. You are correct about that, but a studio is that smart only for a handful of times, because then for every one of those, you get a debacle like Star Trek Into Darkness, where everybody knows that Cumberbatch is Khan, and so they just lie and say he's not,
Yeah.
So it's no.
I'm not wearing a hat, but I'm going to tip it to you today for that one. I thought that was pretty good. It really was.
All right.
I'm very impressed. That might have been the most... now
you're going to ruin it.
Acute thing.
Yep,
acute
there it is.
analysis. That's alliteration for you, too, that you've ever done on the show. Yeah, and finally, Amazon puts college-based The Boys spinoff into development, like fast-tracked. This is from Heroic Hollywood. It's around a superhero college following the massive success of the show's second season. Last year, the first season of The Boys blew everyone away thanks to its dark humor, satirical nature, and deconstructive nature. Some poor writing by you, Heroic Hollywood. That managed to be fun. The second season has also been well received by fans and critics and has quickly become one of Amazon's most watched series. Amazon is looking to capitalize on that success with a new spinoff. According to a new report from Deadline, the upcoming series will be based around a college-aged superheroes at a school run by Vought International, just described as part college show, part Hunger Games, but all satire. It's being developed by Craig Rosenberg, who's worked on the series as a writer and producer. What do you make of this? Are you happy to see Amazon will be expanding the universe of The Boys? What do you think, Hassan? I can tell you're thrilled, right?
Sure.
We're gonna follow this pattern of on and off. We'll do 6 and 7 next week. We won't touch it this week. We won't put you through the every week review of The Boys. I like doing 2 episodes at a time. I'm actually, I'm retaliating against the no binge for once. This is the only show where I'm like, could have released it all, or could have done it in chunks. I liked having 3 in a row. That was good.
Gotcha.
What do you think? Animal House will be Animal House for superheroes?
I'm sure it'll be irreverent and needlessly bloody, and everybody will be an austere, overly realized, hyper-realized stereotype of whatever.
There was that one scene in not to talk about episode 6, but there was that one scene in episode 6 where they're like cutting into Starlight, and it's just when you said needlessly bloody, they're like, it's like, all right, I mean, we get it, you're bloody. All right, when we come back, the greatest pop culture debates of all time settled here and now. We're not debating it. We are settling these debates when we come back.
My name is Dylan Sharp. For most of my life, I've had the uncanny ability to manipulate time. More specifically, 24-hour intervals of time. When I choose to, I can literally undo anything in my past up to 24 hours the previous day. It's like a running timer in my brain. I hit rewind, and bam, I'm right back where I was the day before. Not 2 minutes, not 2 hours, but exactly 24 hours previous, complete with all the memories and experiences to boot. It's something that could really come in handy right now if I wasn't still groggy from the drugs. I don't know what they used to spike my drink, or how they knew it would block my powers, or how they even knew I had powers at all. What's worse is, I can't help thinking, if it wasn't for my damn mother, I wouldn't be in this situation to begin with.
Coming to Kickstarter October 1st. Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast. We are part of the Rogue Matter podcast network. It's a new digital content platform providing programming and entertainment that shatters boundaries and colors outside the lines. Our official launch is coming in October. Right now, our listeners can get in on the ground floor. Go to roguematter.com, enter your email address for exclusive access to our site before anyone else gets to see it. Join the movement. Go rogue, roguematter.com. And like, if you've seen the commercial, check out our other podcasts as well, too. We got Button Smash. We've got some more podcasts that will be adding post-launch as well that we think you guys are going to be pretty excited about. So we are going to be a destination for all kinds of awesome content that you can't get anywhere else, nor would you want to. Look at that. That's how you do a read, my man. All right, we are going to go into, I thought it'd be kind of fun because the debates were on last night, and it was quite the spectacle, I heard. First debates, I'm usually a debates guy. I actually love the debates because at that point you get to kind of see these presidents in action. So I've been able to vote in 4 elections. This would be my 5th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. No, actually this would be my 6th, right? And it's the first debates. I'm like, I don't need to watch it. Instead, I said, you know what? We need to come up with our own debates. And I went online and I looked up the greatest pop culture debates that fit into our little wheelhouse here. And you, Hassan, you're going to settle them tonight. And I'll do it too, but mostly it's going to be, I have a feeling, you'll.
I'm sure this doesn't.
I can tell you.
Nothing is going to be wrong with any of these things, right?
I'm so excited.
This is going to be a thrilling experience. Okay.
Oh, it's going to be the best. I can't even tell you. I can't even describe to you. So before we begin,
no controversy whatsoever.
Is there a debate that you've gotten into in this comics sphere of ours, this pop culture sphere of ours, that you wanted to highlight before we begin? Because I've got a list, but you know,
not really. I mean, my debates would be that the Bryan Singer X-Men movies are shit, and and then everybody thinks that they're wonderful. So that's where I usually err on my, because I don't really care about whether the Flash can beat Superman or you know. I did see a debate as to whether Homelander would be able to beat Superman, which is I thought was the stupidest debate I've ever seen, since Homelander is an allegory of Superman. But
so what do you think? Tie then?
No, hell no.
You think Superman? But Superman actually has a weakness. We don't know Homelander's weakness yet.
We certainly know Homelander's weakness. It's breast milk.
It doesn't kill him. Just makes him. It just makes him
Homelander's a human
really
being. You
weird.
just gotta break.
When he drinks, it's terrible. I'm just saying, it doesn't kill him. We don't know. Kryptonite literally can kill Superman.
Okay.
I wonder if he can touch kryptonite.
And of course, you can go to the corner store and buy kryptonite. It's really easy stuff to come by, right? That's the point. If the only thing that can kill your character is a piece of rock from a planet that exploded thousands of years ago, you know, hundreds and hundreds of parsecs away, you ain't gonna win, man. Plus, like Homelander, as the debate went on, Homelander is not accustomed to fighting anyone as strong as he is, whereas Superman does that all the time. Superman comes across villains and enemies that he's fought that are comparable strength and power, if not stronger than he is.
Yeah.
Now it's a rare thing. Like Doomsday was a rare thing, but he did fight all those things and he did survive it. So,
but in a world where
other Kryptonians.
But in a world where Superman exists, kryptonite exists as well. You said it's not easy to come by, but that just for the mere fact that Superman exists, kryptonite exists means that if Homelander is battling Superman, unless this is some sort of bubble environment to where they've been transported off to a neutral site, let's say. If Superman exists in the Homelander's world, then kryptonite also exists. So, in that regard, not as difficult to find. We don't know Homelander's weakness. We also don't know his strength level. We just assume because he is an allegory for Superman that he's as powerful as Superman. But he was created in a lab, theoretically speaking, because the serum was the compound was created in a lab. So it's not as if the sun powers him, which is what gives Superman his.
Yeah,
strength.
He's like a constant battery. You know,
right.
He's a constantly on battery, so that's another thing. I mean, he could wait till nighttime, but Superman could just fly to another part of the world. That doesn't mean he's not charging all day long,
right? I mean, it's not like Superman's not, I mean, it's not like Superman has to be like out at the beach for a day to charge up, you know? Like he just is. He's just charged up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'll settle it right now. I will say Superman because he's awesome and Homelander's a jerk. How's that?
Not a very in-depth analysis of circumstance, but sure, why not?
All right, see, we're just knocking these things out right now. All right, this is a debate we've had before, but it's strict. We're going to keep it strict to this, right? Because I don't think we're going to not include Ben Affleck in this debate because he only got the one movie and the one cameo. Keaton versus Bale. That's a popular debate.
Okay. Are there no caveats to it? It's just which do you prefer?
Which Batman? Yeah, Keaton versus Bale. Not again eliminating Batfleck, eliminating even Adam West because I mean, I guess you could have Adam West if you really want to. I guess maybe that's the answer. But anyway, go ahead. Keaton versus Bale.
Keaton running away with it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much of a debate on that one either. I don't know why this is out there then. Why this was such a tough Adam West versus Keaton. Now we got something.
Adam West then.
Ooh, all right.
Adam West is the original. That's like Reeves versus Cable. You know, I would take Reeves over Cable.
Oh gosh,
even though I don't. I think Cable's great. Henry Cable. Yeah,
Reeves is Superman. I think we can all agree on that one. All right. Did Greedo shoot first, or who shot first?
In the original movie, Han shot first, and then in the special editions, it was Greedo who shot first, and then Han shot second, and then in the re-up of the special edition, they both shot simultaneously. And that's true. If you watch the Blu-ray, they both shot simultaneously, and that's my answer to that.
When did the Blu-ray come out?
First, it was Han who shot first. Then it was then Greedo shot first, and then Han shot second, and then it was they both shot at the same time, and that's the answer.
When did the Blu-ray come out? Before or after Lucas sold to Disney?
Before.
Interesting. So he caved to the fan pressure of the controversy that he started and gave a
in theory
gave a neutral answer. I'm gonna say
it's still a dickish answer because it's like I'm not fixing it. I'm not putting it back the way that originally was. But I will alter it so that he can keep his, Han can keep his roguish quality.
Here's what I'll say. It's always implied that he shot first in the original, but if you look at the way it's cropped, like the scene itself is cropped, you don't clearly make out who shoots first until like.
Well, if you see he's pulling his gun and he's using his gun in his holster, and then he says, he makes a snide comment, and then there's an explosion, and then you see Greedo, which is probably stylistically the best way the scene was shot.
Yes.
Then technically in that scene he did fire first.
But again, because of the way it was shot, it's never 100% definitive. It's implied versus Whereas in the remake, it is like blatant. Like I'm going to just show you that Greedo shot first because I don't want to make Han a killer.
Exactly.
If you kill in self-defense, which is what he was doing, I mean, does that really make you a bad person? I don't think it does. Right? Like he kind of knew he was dead, right? Would you label it a self-defense killing?
Probably a self-defense killing.
Mm.
I mean, it's arguable that the guy was just holding him at a gunpoint, but he was going to take him somewhere. He wasn't going to shoot him. So to shoot him instead of going somewhere with him is arguably less ethical than, say, if he was definitely going to be killed. But, whatever. Don't pull a gun on anyone if you don't want to get shot. But
here's the thing, right? And you answered the question. Then why would Greedo be holding the gun? Well, no, he was... Okay, hang on.
Because saying, hey, come with me...
No. Hang on.
Doesn't always work.
I stopped myself. That wasn't the question I was trying to ask. I actually just stopped myself mid-thought. There was a bounty on him, both alive and dead, correct?
Not at the moment.
Was it just to come alive? I don't think it was. I think there was. I don't think you. I think
no, because Boba Fett said he's no good to me dead.
No, you're right.
And that was in the next movie.
You're right. All right. Han shot first. There'd be no reason for Greedo to shoot. Right?
There wouldn't be any reason for him to shoot, but the bottom line is that he did have a gun on him. So if you're not, don't do the crime if you can't do the time, kind of situation. Don't pull a gun on anyone if you're not prepared to be shot. In theory.
So we're gonna say Han shot first, but in self-defense.
He could make the argument that it was self-defense,
and that the final remake that Lucas put in there, where they both shoot first, Greedo did a spasm and shot his gun after being shot.
It's the redux of it, where Greedo shoots first, doesn't make any sense if you go by the dialogue.
Right.
You go by the mission purpose of why Greedo is there in the first place. Correct. The fact that Greedo shoots first does not make any sense.
All right. Han shot first in self-defense. That's all you got to say, Lucas. It was in self-defense. All right, here's a fun one for you. And I'll leave this one completely up to you. And I'll take the next one after this because I know you don't really care about the next one. But I don't really care about this one. Kirk versus Picard.
Kirk.
Is it like a landslide, Kirk, over Picard?
I like Picard. Picard is fine. It's just Kirk, Like Kirk is Kirk is one of those few charismatic characters that, every time you see him, Kirk is always kind of a joke outside of the context of like, oh man, the guy, is overacting and he's sleeping with girls all over the place, whatever, and he's not doing his job. And then whenever you sit down and actually watch those shows and watch them for real, don't have them in the background or, you're making jokes about, you're sniding, making snide comics about it and stuff, whatever. If you actually watch them, especially the first season, I'll say the first 2 seasons, he's actually really a good character. He's really an authentic character. He's a good leader. He's very charismatic. You can see why his men really dig him. Right. And so, like, I think Shatner does a really great job with the character. It's Shatner's greatest character, hands down.
Kirk versus T.J. Hooker.
Still Kirk. T.J. Hooker is a slightly fatter and
I just thought of that too. That's funny how that comes to mind. You're like, man, that guy's out of shape. Like, like you're just like, that guy's just running, man.
Kevin Pollak made a joke about him years ago. He said, he's like William Shatner had a Starship and now he's got a Plymouth. Like it's not a good upgrade for him. But people forget about T.J. Hooker.
Yeah. Yeah,
that lasted quite a while and had a lot there.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? That's a testament to Shatner as well too, and his greatness is the fact that there have been many iconic. There have been many actors who have played iconic characters or characters that became iconic and couldn't recover from it. And he managed to do T.J. Hooker. He's managed to do a lot.
Well, in the later years, because what he did, what Shatner did, which is genius, is he managed to capitalize on himself being a parody of himself.
Yes.
And I don't know how that's done. I do not know how you fall into the niche where everything you do is like, freaking Shatner. He's so awesome, Right. He's so Shatner about all of this stuff. So
right. Yeah.
But definitely Kirk over Picard, even though I don't really have a problem with Picard.
Okay. Actually, I'll jump to this one before I do the one I'm going to do. Star Wars versus Star Trek. See, now you have an interesting answer. You live and die by the Lucas, at the Lucas shrine. But you're a big Star Trek guy, too. So I'm curious to know which way you fall here.
When it comes to Star Wars versus Star Trek, I say binary choices are for suckers.
Oh, that's a cop-out answer. I'm asking you to settle the debate right now.
It's not a debate. They're two completely. The only thing similar about them is that they have "star" in the name.
But that is
forever. That's not. And then after Deep Space Nine, they've got wars. I mean, Deep Space Nine did a Star Wars, So,
so I'll throw this out to you.
It depends. It's categorical. That's the problem. Star Trek versus Star Wars is categorical. If you're talking movies, Star Wars runs away with it.
Yes.
Because Star Trek has two theoretically good movies.
I like the one with the whale. I like that one. That was fun.
Maybe three. Maybe three.
Right? That was good. I liked it. They were in San Francisco.
Yeah, compare Star Trek 4 to Empire Strikes Back for cinematic greatness. You see what I'm saying?
Obviously, you're not going to do that, but you could compare it.
Well, you said you're going to compare them, right? You said
the prequels. I think Star Trek 4 beats the prequels.
It does not.
I think easily does.
And you're asking me. I don't really give a damn what your opinion is. It's my opinion that you're asking.
Let me throw this out to you, right? This was a no-brainer 25 years ago, right? Right?
No.
Like, it was a no-brainer. It was like Star Wars over Star Trek, like easily.
No.
I like the reboots that JJ.
I don't know where you're getting your analysis from. You do this thing where you make these statements as though they're fact, and then you proceed on the basis of that statement, and I don't even agree with the statement. So I mean, you could go wherever you want with that, but I disagree with you.
So when it was just 3 movies and maybe some cartoons and whatnot, versus what Star Trek had done at the time, which was just the original series and then the Next Generation, and like you said, a couple of great movies, maybe one, quasi good.
Even
movie.
When Star Trek was just the original series on various syndicated channels, it's still not a hands down run away with it kind of situation for Star Wars.
But Star Wars was the clear, I think, not run away. It doesn't have to be run away to be clear, though, right? Like just to
no. Why would you say that? What would make you say that?
I think Star Wars just was bigger, and the original Star Trek.
What are we making? What are we basing the comparison off of in the first place? Are you talking about? Legend? Are you talking about? Celebrity profile? Or are you talking about story, intricacy of science fiction?
All encompassing. I think just all encompassing.
So then you can't just say that because the movies were bigger, theoretically bigger, ostensibly bigger, then it was a runaway with it. That Star Wars ran away with it. You can't just say that because
not saying that
doesn't meet your own criteria.
Not running away with it, but I would say that it basically, if you were to poll this question out, I feel like to 99 out of 100 people would say Star Wars. I think Star Wars would be the clear,
that's a
popular
preponderance argument. We don't have. That's not a metric. We don't have those. So
the reason I said this, though, the reason I brought this up before you cut me off, is to say,
oh my God, you're gonna complain about me cutting you off. Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, I apologize.
Now it is the debates from last night. Please continue.
I apologize. Unlike the debates from last night.
Yeah, the one time in 3 years you apologize. Okay. Okay.
That buys me another 3 years. This is like a marriage, dude. You know, all you have to do to
in the world of your mind, I see how you would make that distinction.
Successful marriage, it's like that spouse can do the same thing over and over again, but it's that one time when they're like, I'm really sorry that's what sticks in the other person's mind. You're like, oh, they do recognize me. They do see me. I understand. It's okay.
I think it's a well-known fact that your logic is questionable, but okay, please continue.
I don't know about that. But anyway, my reason for bringing that up was, since I would say the prequels and going into the sequels and going into you do have some wins, some like hands down wins like Clone Wars. You do have some great additions to it. But I'd say the trajectory of both those franchises since, let's say, 1999, you did have the J.J. Abrams reboot, which I loved, actually. I loved it because I was not a big Star Trek guy, but I got into those movies. I thought they were pretty good.
Most Star Trek fans,
series, which was pretty good. What's that?
Most Star Trek fans actually put Galaxy Quest above the J.J. Abrams movies as good movies. So if we're going to again use the preponderance argument,
but
I'm
saying that Star Trek took on a new life that it hadn't enjoyed prior to, let's say, 2000. Right? I think prior to 2000, it was one of those things where it was almost a no-brainer. Star Wars, but Star Wars has had so many hiccups now.
I disagree. Let's move to the next topic. You're not making.
I'm saying
argument.
It's so much closer now than it was.
No,
it's still a hands down Star Wars.
First of all, you said at the beginning of this thing that these debates would be decided by me. And you're not accepting any of my answers.
No, so, I am. I'm giving commentary.
No,
though.
You're not. That's not commentary.
I never said I couldn't give commentary.
That is not commentary. You're not even posing it as questions. You're not even using them as posits or caveats. You're just saying, no, I think the argument is this way.
I'm not saying no. I'm merely saying you basically flat out said Star Wars.
But your logical facts, there's no proof for them. You're saying, okay, yeah, Star Wars beat Star Trek before X because of Y, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But there's no proof to any of those things.
You can't beat math. Math is hardcore. That's X plus
You
Y.
shame yourself every time.
All I was trying to do was say that the gap between them, I think, in my opinion, is closer than.
I understand what your opinion is. I disagree with you.
Do you think Star Wars is still like hands down, like not even it's no brainer?
I didn't say that. I said it depends on the criteria.
Yeah, but you got to pick one.
No, I don't. You didn't. That wasn't part of the rules.
We're going to settle the debate.
That as part of the rules.
Settling it. Star Wars over Star Trek, a lot closer than it was. I'm glad you agree with me. All right, this one, Angel versus Spike. You were not a Buffy fan, so that's why you don't need to really settle this one. Spike is hands down better than Angel, but I got to give David Boreanaz credit because he turned a role that could easily be seen as Tiger Beat, material, to where it's really just like this hunk that ladies are going to want to watch and ladies are going to fantasize about being with, into a character that in his own spin-off series became so much more than that in his own right. So I got to give David Boreanaz a lot of credit. Spike was the best part of
Once
Buffy.
Again, that doesn't make any sense because you're comparing two characters. You ask about the two characters, and then you say because the actor was able to turn his character into a franchise, he wins.
No, I'm saying he was able to make the franchise. He was able to transform his character into something, not just could build his own franchise.
That's the actor. That's not the character.
Yeah, but
what about the character makes Angel better than Spike? or Angelus.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that's sometimes when you sit there and say it's not all in the writing; it's also the delivery of things, right? I mean,
your question was Angel versus Spike.
Yes.
All these other caveats are not implied in the question. No, Angel versus Spike.
I'm giving context, and I'm giving additional information.
This is poor context, though.
It's not poor context.
If Angel versus Spike, but then we're supposed to take the prowess of the actor and his ability to turn into a franchise over. That's not the character.
No, you're saying.
If you say Boreanaz versus Marsters, that's a different story. That would work in the context.
No. Yeah. I'm giving Angel credit. I'm giving Boreanaz credit for making Angel what could have been a disastrous one-dimensional cardboard character, giving him life. That
doesn't give any context as to whether his character was better than Spike or not.
Yeah, but of course it does.
No, it doesn't. What makes Angel better than Spike?
Well, it doesn't. I think Spike's better than Angel, and Spike should have ended up with
what makes Spike better than Angel?
So Spike is a character
you would actually be in the criteria of the debate that you had posited in the first place. You may continue. I'm listening.
Oh, for the love of God. Spike is a character that went.
You don't like it when it happens to you. I see. Okay.
Spike went through. No, but you're not. You don't. You keep pulling these conclusions out of what I say as like, well, the actor made a franchise.
I'm not pulling any conclusion. I'm saying what you're saying.
The character being better.
I'm saying what you're saying actually negates a conclusion. You can't draw a conclusion with the information that you're giving out.
I'm just giving a nod that Boreanaz elevates the character by his performance.
It's still not the character.
Well,
what elevated the character?
Sure, it is.
What is it that he did to elevate the character?
His personality transcending through the character, I think, was added layers to the character that wasn't originally there.
But if you're just taking character for character, you'd say Spike.
But I also think Marsters is a better actor than Boreanaz, and he also elevated a character through his performance. That being said,
but that doesn't have
what
anything
Spike
to do with the
went
character.
Through, and the basis for the character always being love's bitch, being throughout, made for a more interesting and compelling character, and therefore he also, instead of Boreanaz, who was cursed with a soul, Spike went out and actually did it in the name of love. Transcended his very nature as a vampire, which is to not have a soul and to not care about these kind of things. That's the whole point of being a vampire. So
you're saying Spike. Okay, move on. Yeah. Next one. Yeah. What's the next one?
Yeah, you didn't like the show. So
actually, I've seen every episode of that show, and I could quote it for you.
Just I don't like the writing. Every episode doesn't mean you weren't hate watching.
No, I didn't. I don't hate watch anything. That's why I'm not watching The Boys.
That's not true. You are.
I am not.
Maybe you're reading about it. All right. Here we go. All right, we'll do two more.
What a moron.
Actually, no, we'll do one more, and then we'll do some quick hits. Just yes or no. Did the top stop spinning in Inception?
Doesn't matter.
That's not an answer. Yes or no?
It doesn't matter.
Why does it not matter? I'll go down your road.
Because in the context of his dream, he was never able to either get out of the room and actually see his children.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless or not, as to whether the top stopped spinning, he had elevated to a level where he can control his dreams. So the gambit had changed, so he could live his life in even whether he was in his dream state or not.
So
it doesn't matter.
Was he in a dream state or was he not?
It doesn't matter.
The answer is yes. All right. Here are some quick hits, real quick. Pepsi or Coke? This one's easy. Just a yes or no. Pepsi or Coke?
I'm done with the game.
Pepsi or Coke?
You don't
Coke
you don't play by the rules.
Marvel or DC? Marvel's the answer. Blue and black versus white and gold. Remember that thing, that little dress that popped up there? It's like, what do you see? What do you not see? It's white and gold. I don't care if it says blue, black, and gold. It's white and gold. All right, and finally, Mario or Sonic? Were you a Sega guy or were you a Nintendo guy?
I like Sega.
Really? Ooh, I could see you being a Sega guy. That just makes sense to me. Like everyone else is going Nintendo.
Nintendo sucked. Most of their games sucked.
Oh, man. We're gonna get you on Button Smash. You are gonna be the featured guest on Button Smash. We're gonna do a Mario versus Sonic. Oh, that's gonna be great. All right, let us know what you think.
So you didn't answer the question though.
Well, you actually answered one for a change, so I didn't have to answer.
You asked if I was a Sega or a Nintendo guy.
And you said Sega.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Mario was better than Sonic, or Mario was inferior to Sonic.
Ooh, okay, all right.
But I'm not playing anymore. But I'm saying you didn't answer it yourself.
I didn't have to. I was impressed. I was impressed with your Sega
You keep moving the goalpost, man. You keep changing the criteria of the game.
You threw something new.
That's why the game is no fun to play.
That is
why the game is no fun to play.
You went deeper. I said Mario versus Sonic, and you go, I'm a Sega guy over Nintendo guy. And I was like, that's in and of itself.
Okay, then.
In and of itself is a great debate. You proposed something different to which we debate. Mario's clearly better than Sonic, so it's an easy one. All right, let us know what you think. So you settle it. We settle it. We've already defined it. That's it. We've settled all debates. Chime in on the Facebook feed. We will answer back. When we come back, we go spinning the racks.
Welcome to Button Stash, the show about the best mustaches in gaming.
Casey, it's Button Smash. It's the new gaming podcast from the Rogue Matter Network. I don't know where you got mustaches from.
Well, I'm not shaving. But we will talk about gaming news, reviews, inside scoops, and retrospectives.
Join us live on twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, or download our episodes wherever you listen to your podcast.
But please, Casey, shave.
Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast. Talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Wave Podcast. That's Rogue Wave without an E. Go to Rogue Wave Podcast to subscribe. We are big fanboys of comics and graphic novels, and every week like to bring you the inside info and the source material that will make its way onto the large and small screen and just keep you generally informed, because that's what we like to do here. We call this segment Spinning the Racks.
Spin the rack, spin that rack.
Want to do a little indie roundup for you. Usually we focus on the big two. There's a couple of cool things going out there, a couple of cool companies doing some interesting things. Mad Cave, we actually had someone from Mad Cave on our podcast previously. They've announced a Maverick YA imprint. It's an announcement on the Hollywood Reporter. Florida-based independent publisher Mad Cave Studios announced that Maverick, an imprint that will publish young adult graphic novels, is scheduled to launch in 2021. They've already had a busy year spearheading a comic book retailer relief fund for COVID in the spring and a robust comic release schedule in the autumn. However, that's not enough. As the market for YA comics continues to grow, Mad Cave is preparing to enter into that fray. It's beginning in autumn of 2021. It will be in there. Mad Cave, it's funny. It's one of those companies that just all of a sudden kind of popped up, but they seem to have some weight behind them. You know what I mean? There's some indie companies that kind of pop up, and you're like, well, yeah, we've been slogging it in the trenches for many years, and we've built up this organic fan base. And then you have someone like Mad Cave, just seems to come with an established identity. Right off the bat, so it was kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, because they got financing and backing stuff like
well, right? No,
some other corporate entity.
That is usually the case. There's no question about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. We support those kind of companies.
Didn't imply. Just clarifying.
Yes.
Go ahead.
TKO Studios, this is another one, announced a new wave of books from Steve Orlando, Steve Niles, and more. It's announced their upcoming third wave of titles. It's a trio of books from, like I said, Steve Niles, Steve Orlando, and Alex Packnadel, with artists Simone Kradansky, Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, Neil Vandrell, and more. The three books are Lonesome Dave's Savage Nights. This is co-written by Niles and Salvatore Simeone. Niles obviously is 30 Days of Night. That's his claim to fame. The Pull, written by Steve Orlando, illustrated by Lopez Ortiz. It's a sci-fi series that asks the question, what would you do if you only had 6 days left to live? Give up or fight back? Lonesome Dave Savage Nights is a supernatural crime story about a private detective with one hell of a trick up his sleeve and a monster under his skin. And finally, Red Fork, a dark horror tale written by Packnadel, illustrated by Vendrell. The series follows an ex-con who returns to his hometown and realizes something sinister is draining life from the town. That's kind of a neat little log line. While not specified by TKO, it's expected that all 3 series, as with all previous TKO titles, will be available in 3 formats, digitally, as box sets of single issues, and as collected editions all at once. That's the stuff that I love talking about when referencing TKO. I feel like they're trying something with their format that was never done before. And I like that. I like innovation. Basically, they said, people like graphic novels? Great. You can get it as a graphic novel all at once. You like the floppies? Great. Here's all 4 floppies. So it's not like you're waiting while the graphic novel is out there. Right. And then meanwhile, they're also offering it digitally at the same time, which comic book retailers probably don't like. But I think there's a distinct market difference between, the digital reader and the people that want to actually own the physical copy of something. Because I love the physical copy. The digital, to me, I just don't love it. I don't, if I want to read something because I need to know something, I'll do it. But other than that, I would actually prefer the print,
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind digital at all. I think that's where it's all going that way.
Yeah.
And we have way more devices. It's way more versatile than a physical copy.
Yeah.
At this point.
Do you think... Is this just a case of just like, because I'm just used to print, that it's digital's been out long enough now where I feel like, no, I actually do prefer the print version. I like holding something in my hand, but I've switched over. I'm much more of a fan of graphic novels now than I am the floppies. The floppies to me are just trash at this point. There's no collector's value to any of this, really. Not that I was a big collector to begin with. It's not like I bought comics for the collection value. I buy them for the story. But it's just so much easier for me to be able to just, here's a graphic novel. Here's the latest volume of Walking Dead that I need to catch up on. Great. I just covered 6 issues in a single read, and it just feels, it's just easier. So I'm now in that graphic novel tent. But do you think that's something that the younger generation, cares about? I don't know. Like, what's your opinion on that?
I would say not, because they don't care about anything we cared about. So, I mean, I would honestly say probably not. It's probably not a big deal for them. They don't read books that way. They don't read novels that way anymore. Everybody reads off a Kindle or some kind of device, or listens to an audiobook. It's very rare that you get a paperback. The bookstores are closing all over the place. So, but there's still a publishing industry.
Yeah.
So, there's still publications.
It's interesting.
But it doesn't seem to matter.
So I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and because of their age and because of screen time's a big thing. We buy books, like literally print books, because it's just better for their attention spans. It's better for, their eyes. There's so many like physical things that go into it at that young an age. So when we're reading bedtime stories, I mean, it's always physical books. It's kind of cool too, because some friends of the show, like Mark Bolton, wrote a story called Pizza Tree, and I have that graphic. It's a little small, like it's meant for kids, and I read that. And Joe Mulvey, I supported his Kickstarter for Mummy's Always Right, his kids book that he did, and there's something neat about like holding this physical book in front of my kid too. So I'm wondering if maybe that will pass on. You're probably right. I'm not going to disagree with you. Just because phones, I mean, once a kid gets a phone, and kids are getting phones at like 6-7 years old now too, which is the worst part. We have a tablet for him too, though. I mean, that's that's what they're going to channel. But I wonder, I don't know. I kind of hope, not wonder. I'm just hoping.
You're hoping what though? You're
Physical.
hoping
that it's somehow.
After a while, it's going to become cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Paper. You have to, the materials that you have to use in order to continue to produce physical. I like novels better than reading something on a Kindle.
Yeah.
So I understand your point there. but I can understand why they would go away.
No, I hear you. All right, well, that was our show tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed settling all the debates for Hassan because he refused to. Like the cop out of it was very, it's all right. I understand your game. It's you've been doing this long enough. Yeah. Next week, more pop culture goodness. We will review, boys, season episodes 6 and 7. Even though Hassan says he never watches it, but he has been. And we'll dive into everything that's coming out, and we'll think of some fun things like we did tonight. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Rogue Wave.